Alright, I feel like I've come a long way in a year. I don't remember exactly when I started doing this. I think it was around fall of 2022. But I didn't know anything about it. You know, people who know my story already know this, but the people who don't, basically I started using Cash App just as an alternative form of PayPal. And I saw that it had Bitcoin options in there, but I didn't really get into Bitcoin. I wasn't into crypto. Should have been, because it skyrocketed. But I didn't know much about it. I didn't really trust it. So I didn't do anything with it. And I didn't really know how to do it. When I first learned about it was with a guy that I had living on my land when I was trying to do a sustainable community and off-grid, organic, farm and retreat, sustainable type community. He was big into crypto, and he's probably rich-ish, kind of rich right now, because he was in it on the ground level, and he was like hardcore Bitcoin. He was actually mining Bitcoins. He was kind of a bum, but his whole world was crypto. He was like, oh yeah, crypto. And I should have listened more, but I didn't pay him much attention because he was kind of a bum. But he was basically mooching off other people while he was investing all of his assets into crypto. Kind of wise, kind of not so wise, but hopefully, now that he's not a bum so much anymore, he's got money, maybe, hopefully, he returns the favor to other people instead of being, you know, a worthless eater. But anyways, I mean, he did try to educate me about crypto, but it just was foreign knowledge to me. It was like he was speaking another language. So, I mean, he was okay. He wasn't a total bum. He was a good grower. He liked to grow things. He was like a gardener. He had a green thumb, and I did not. So that's the only reason why I kept him around as long as I did, was because he was good at growing food and stuff. He probably had more to contribute than the other bums I had living on the land. But anyway, he didn't contribute much. He just had more to contribute. So if I was able to provide more for him to be able to grow more, we probably would have been more successful. But I had all these other worthless eaters, you know, draining me. And I finally quit doing that. I finally got rid of the whole thing. He left. He was going out with the girl that was on the property. They came together. They split up, and then he found another girlfriend to mooch off of. And so he went and mooched off of her in Nebraska for a little while. Then he ended up in Alabama or someplace like that. Knowing what I now know, I should have got into crypto back then, but I didn't really understand it. It was, like I said, it was foreign to me. So, But yeah, I could have cashed out all that Bitcoin and put it into dividend stocks and been retired already. But hindsight, you know. So now that I know more and it's easier to do now,
speed limit reduced ahead.
I will keep an eye on different cryptos, buy while it's down, and if it goes up, then I'll make a bunch of money and I'll roll it over into dividend stocks. So when I was first using Cash App, I didn't know much about it either. I just used it as like a PayPal. And then when my brother was like, I just lost $700 on Bitcoin, I was like, hey, now it's time to buy. So I bought some. And I bought it as it was going down. And I bought it all the way down to like 15,000 a coin. And I should have kept it. I should have stayed. Should have bought a bunch at 15,000 a coin. Because I didn't know. I think it was closer to 16,000. But anyways, if I would have known it was going to go up to 120, I would have kept it. But I fell on hard times. So once I balanced out, once I leveled out, I cashed out because I needed the money. And hang on. So I cashed out because I needed the money. And I cashed out a lot of my stocks because I needed the money. But anyways, after I got into Bitcoin, then I realized, oh, Cash App has other stocks too. And so I started buying stocks. But I didn't know anything about dividend stocks. I was just day trading. That's what I used Bitcoin for, and that's what I used all the other stocks for. It's just day trading. Because I thought that's all there was to stocks besides, maybe an IRA, which is still pretty much day trading. I knew about IRAs, I knew about mutual funds, things like that, but I didn't really understand. Until Western Union paid me a dividend. So then I called my Edward Jones broker because that's where I have my IRA, and I used to have a mutual fund there. I have a mutual fund there again, but it's only making 4%. I'm like, I can make that anywhere else, So I'm going to probably roll that over into my IRA here soon. At least by the end of the year. But anyhow, I got a dividend from Western Union, and I was like, what is this? So I called my Edward Jones broker and was like, what is this? And he explained it to me, but I didn't really understand. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. And he was like, oh yeah, that's one of the better paying dividend stocks. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then I just kept day trading. I didn't really get it, but I was like, okay, thanks for the information. And then I bought PBR, and I ended up getting like a 10% return from PBR, and I was like, whoa, what is this? So I called my Edward Jones broker again and was like, hey, what's going on with this? He goes, oh, that's one of the best dividend stocks I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like that before. And I'm like, wow. So I bought more PBR. And then I started learning about dividends and dividend stocks. PBR actually helped me buy my pickup truck. I put a bunch of money into PBR. And then whenever I needed, I didn't want to cash out my stocks, but I needed to upgrade my pickup truck because my transmission went out again on my Dakota. And so I was like, you know what, forget this. I'm not going to rebuild this Dakota again. I'm going to just upgrade and get a newer truck. Not a new truck, but a newer truck. But I couldn't really afford to pay cash. I mean, I guess I could have if I cashed out all my stocks, but I didn't really want to do that. So I was like, well, let me finance one, and then but I'll get a used one, so I'll get the cheapest used pickup truck I can find in my area, which I did. But I only wanted to put $1,000, maybe $2,000 down because that's what I had in the bank. And they're like, oh, you got to put $4,000 down. So luckily I had PBR stock that I cashed out, and it gave me the difference that I needed to buy my pickup truck, which I still have, and it's still a decent truck. I still got like $5,000 I gotta pay off on it, and I could and would pay it off now, but I'm waiting to get a mortgage, so I gotta keep my credit score up in order to get this mortgage. And if I pay off the pickup truck, then my credit score will drop, because you gotta have credit, or you gotta have debt in like 3 or 4 different categories. But you can't have too much debt. So you have to have the right amount of debt in these 3 or 4 different categories. And you pay on time, and all is good. But if you don't have enough debt, your credit score is bad. And if you have too much debt, then your credit score is bad. So it's like a fine line. But anyway, so then I got off the road because I got a new girlfriend, and I had a business associate kind of tell me that, oh, she can help me make as much money as I'm making on the road and be home all the time. I'm like, cool. Well, that was a bunch of crap. But after I was home all the time, the girlfriend was getting used to that, and she was like, well, I don't want you to go back out on the road. So I kept trying to find local work, and I just didn't make enough money. She had to support me, and it was putting strain on our relationship. And I was cashing out all my stocks, and that was putting a strain on me, because I was trying to build up my dividend stocks, because I just started learning about dividend stocks. And I learned about Zem, which was probably my best and one of my favorite dividend stocks. And so I was trying to build up my dividends, but I couldn't build up my dividends because I wasn't making enough money to support myself. So I ended up just starting to cash out stocks, and I had to pretty much start over. So I started over about a year ago. And about a year ago, Let's see what year this was, or what time. Someone must have lowered their dividend, because yesterday I was up to $42 a month. Now I'm down to 41, and I just bought 2 new shares and stocks today, and it's still at 41. Ding darn diddly. But that's okay. I'll just keep working on growing it. Okay, so I was about 6 months in at that point. I still had some of my stocks, and I was manually entering them into this app, dividend tracker I found. And so I was manually entering them into this app. Not using this app anymore. It's still a good app, but I'm using Snowball now, which is better. But so I didn't cash out all my stocks whenever I was falling on hard times. I just cashed out all but maybe $1's worth or whatever. You know, I kept, like with Cash App, well, I also didn't cash out stocks that were down. I only cashed out stocks that were up. That way I didn't lose any money. I try not to lose money. You know, some stocks will go bankrupt and you lose money, like Bed Bath & Beyond. I lost like $200 there. But I made that back in dividend stocks because I was up to, you know, whenever I switched to Snowball. Oop. Hang on. I guess I could have made it. Now I gotta wait for traffic the other way. Anyway, so when I switched to Snowball, I was up to $200 a month, give or take. Stocks are, you know, gradually go up. So I think I was just under 200 a month. I was more like around 150, and that was before taxes. I should change this. No, that was after tax. No. Oh, okay, I turned that off because with that's weird. Oh well. Anyway. It's been a minute since I used this app, so I don't know how to use it anymore. Okay. So I was up to about $1,500 a year when I switched to Snowball. Now I've doubled that. And I switched to Snowball, I don't know, just not too long ago. But, so I'm up to $400 a month now. Oh, there, okay. So I haven't quite doubled that. That was, the $1,500 was after tax. So now it's like almost $1,800 when I switched to Snowball. Now that I'm using Snowball, I've I've got my dividends up to almost $3,000 a year. So that's $250 a month. So I pretty much replaced one day's income per month. So that's an extra day I don't gotta worry about working if I have to take off for work. You know, normally I work 5 to 6 days a week for my job. Now I am changing divisions now because this job here is killing me, and I'm just so worn out. I don't have time to do anything else anymore. I'm tired all the time. So I'm changing divisions. And they say I'll make less money there, but we'll see. I just got to stay with this company until I get this land. And then I can switch companies if this company is not going to pay me what I'm worth. But every trucking company pretty much lies. This company lied about the job, and it's like, this job that I have right now is a nightmare. But it's like the worst division that we have. So now I'm switching to a easier, better, more relaxed division. I'll get more miles, but I'll have I might get more miles, I don't know. Yeah, but I'll have less physical unloading time overall, I believe, because right now I have to make 3 to 4 deliveries every single day. Plus I gotta try and knock out 500 miles every single day, and it's killing me. It's killing me. And my paycheck's really not that great. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But it's just, I probably ought to just switch companies. But as long as I make $1,000 a week, I'm happy, because basically my bills, my current land mortgage is like 400, my bad. Yeah. My pickup truck is $300 a month. Plus my land, which is about $400 a month. Insurance with 3 vehicles and my 2 properties, because I have 3 properties now, but I'm not paying for insurance for the 3rd because I don't own it yet. I'm owner financing it. But I would say my insurance is about $100 a month, but we'll say $150 to be safe. My utilities is maybe another $100. Plus food. Probably that, but let's go home. I don't know. I don't spend a lot of money in food, but we'll just say $15 a day times 30. That's quite a bit. I probably don't spend that much in food. Maybe I do. I don't really pay attention to how much money I spend in food. We'll just say 1,500. Is my and then I got my phone and internet. That's about $100 a month. So we'll just say $1,500 a month is my expenses. Oh, I got cat food. Let's go ahead and throw another 100 on there. And then the goats and the sheep, they eat mostly weeds and stuff. But, yeah, alright, cool. Oh, and then my security cameras, that's probably another... So, let's just say overall my expenses are probably $2,000 a month. Tops. So, if I'm making $4,000 a month, which I actually make about 5, but we'll just say 1,000 times 52 equals divided by 12. So that's on the low side. Alright, I make about $5,000 a month. But my expenses are about $2,000 a month. So that's $3,000 a month that I could potentially... I do got money that I spend on my old IT business, but I'm working on liquidating that. Oh, I got my storage units too. I forgot about those. It's about $1,000 a year. It's about another $100 a month. Which I'm working. I need to downsize, but I'm never home. I don't have time to downsize that. But with this new job, I'll have a little bit more time. Maybe less money, but more time, so I can go through my storage, downsize. I inherited a bunch of crap that I got to get rid of. My mom's got a booth in an antique shop or a thrift store. I can probably, start putting some stuff in there and selling it, or putting it on Facebook Marketplace, or both. And then whatever I don't sell, donate. But but yeah, let's just say I got $2,000 a month that I can invest. Going back over here, that's about what I've been investing. Oh, I got the $500 a month for the new property I'm spending as well. So, and then gas. I gotta buy gas for my pickup trucks and maintenance for the pickup trucks. I got 3 pickup trucks. Although I really only drive the new one now for the most part. The other 2 are pretty much just backup. But I gotta put the other 2 in the shop because I've not been doing maintenance on my stuff because I've been trying to catch up on paying down my debt. I do have a credit card that I still have some debt on, so I've been paying that down. So actually, I guess no, I've only been investing about $1,000 a month because I've been trying to pay down my debts. So that's about right. The last year I put in probably $1,000 a month. I also been investing a little bit into my IRA and my mutual fund. So yeah, I've only put in $1,000 a month for the last 12 months. But I got my dividends up from like $60 a year ago, $60 a month, to what was it? Hang on. Someone must have. So yeah, about a year ago, I had my dividends up to $60 a month. And in a year's time, I like quadrupled that. So, if I keep pushing forward, you know, I can basically at least triple what I have now. So I have about $250 a month. That'll be $750 a month. $9,000 a year. That'll be about 2 months pay. So I've got that's what I was predicting the other day. I don't know if I did a video on it or not, but that was what I was predicting the other day. If I can triple what I'm making now on my dividend stocks, it'll be almost 2 months pay. Or right now I'm making almost 1 month pay. It's less than the almost 2 months pay that I would be making if I had it doubled.
Go straight at the roundabout.
But anyways, yeah. So I'll be closer to duplicating my income for 2 months versus where I am now duplicating my income for 1 month. So that's my goal for this time next year, is to reach $9,000 or better, because I should have my credit card paid down. I'll never have it paid off because I have my auto renewals on there. Everything that auto renews except for my insurance goes on my credit card, because the insurance company won't let me put it on the credit card. So I just have a separate checking account for that, and I keep a balance like $1,500 in there. And then that way I know I've always got the money to cover the insurance. But I think my biggest insurance bill is only a couple $100. So even if I only had a balance of $500 in there all the time, I'd be good. That's like my minimum. Normally I keep about $1,000 in there, but right now I got $1,500. But $1,000 is my ideal minimum that I would like to keep in that account. And that's what I do. I have a separate account for my pickup truck payment. I have a separate account for my mortgage payment. Both mortgage payments, because I got 2 properties now. shop. Gotta mark them in the GPS. I run Rand McNally truck GPS, and I run Google Maps because the truck GPS gives me truck routes, but the Google gives me other information like road closures, which route is the fastest route, and then I can look and compare whether or not it's a truck route or not, and then I can go that route. You know, if it's like, say, oh, this way's faster, I can look at it and say, oh, that looks like a truck route. I'll go that way. So, like, yeah. Anyway.
Go straight at the roundabout. Second exit. Onto Southeast US 400.
I typically just follow the Rand McNally unless there's an accident or a road closure or something like that ahead. Then I'll look at
take the next exit.
Then, you know, that's what I use Google Maps for, is tell me where those things are. And then I'll hit detour on my Rand McNally and tell it to detour that location, and then it'll take me on a truck route around the location. It also lets me know where the cops are if somebody else is, you know, punching that information in. Anytime I see a cop, I'll punch it in, you know, to do my part, if you will, so I can help warn other people about the cops. Because a lot of times the cops aren't serving and protecting anymore. They're serving and collecting. They're Department of Revenue officers. They just go around collecting revenue. They don't really care about, you know, safety, you know, and looking out for us. They don't look out for us anymore. They look out for themselves and the New World Order. But anyway, we won't go there. Okay, so that's a topic for my Scrap channel, which I can't talk about because YouTube censors us, because they're part of the New World Order too. But anyways, back over here. So come a long ways. I've got my dividends up to almost $3,000 a year. My goal is $9,000 a year from now. I'm apparently doing better than the S&P. I'm not sure how that works. If I look at well, I've only been doing this for less than 5 years. So 5 years and overall is pretty much the same. The last year, the S&P has been doing slightly better than I have. However, the S&P's only done $1,000 better than I have, but yet I'm getting $3,000 a year back in dividends. So really I'm doing $2,000 better. So that's how you look at that.
No engine braking ahead.
Right now I mostly invest.
Speed limit reduced ahead.
Hang on. I wasn't paying attention to the speed limit. I was just paying attention to the road. Okay, let's go back. Portfolio. So I think this ranks everything from how much money I have in the from dollar amount,
Speed warning.
highest dollar amount to lowest dollar amount. So right now I mostly invest in things that pay
Speed limit reduced ahead.
a high dividend yield. Now the gurus will say don't do that, but whoa, what? Oh, it freaked me out. I say do it with caution. So,
Speed warning.
B-
Speed warning.
BITO is the one I have most of my money in. What I do is I start out, first I look at the highest dividend yielding stock there is. And if it pays better than the interest rate that I'm paying on my debt, so if the yield is higher than the interest rate on my debt, then I'll invest in that stock. And so my initial investment is typically $20, unless the yield is less than 20%. So I'll basically just throw in, if it's only 5%, I'll throw in $5. But if it's 25%, I'll throw in $20, and I'll let it sit there. Now, when I get a dividend, whether it's monthly, quarterly, annually, then I'll go look at that yield again, and then I'll reinvest again. Instead of dripping, instead of automatically dripping, I manually drip. So when I get that dividend yield, or when I get that dividend, I'll go look at the yield, and I'll look at the 5-year. So let's just say, okay, the dividend yield on BITO is 50.56%. But then I'll also look at the 5-year. Now, they are down for the last 5 years. So I'll just throw in $51. It's 50.56, so it's over 50.5. So I'll round up to the nearest percent. So 51% basically. But because the stock is down for the last 5 years, I'll only invest $51. Now, if the stock has been up for the past 5 years, not consecutively, but like say if it's up from the 5-year mark, if it's up from where it was 5 years ago, then I would add a zero to that. So instead of $51, I throw in $510 because the stock is up. It's doing good. But if the stock is down, then I'll be like, okay, I'll still reinvest because it's paying me 50% dividend. But I'm not gonna take that big risk of throwing in $500. Now I did in the past because it's an ETF, and I was like, well, I'll invest more in ETFs. But now I kind of changed my strategy, and so these guys are paying me
Right curve ahead.
Oh, here we go.
Crossing border. Welcome to Oklahoma.
Oh. I was like, what? This is paying me 78 cents per share. Last month. Month before it was $1. Month before it was less. Blah, blah, blah. it pays monthly. So if it pays monthly, I reinvest monthly. If it pays quarterly, I reinvest quarterly. So BITO is basically paying me the money to reinvest. So, alright, so $51 is what I'm reinvesting, right? I'm gonna have to pause this because they're gonna ask for password.
3 miles.
So BITO is a Bitcoin ETF that pays a really good dividend. It's up for the last 3 months, down for the last year, down for the last 5 years, but it's not been around for 5 years. So, yeah. But I've overall only lost $4.67 on it. Not that bad. And I've made, I don't know, a lot of money off of it. So last month it paid me $53. It's gonna pay me another, oh wait, no, sorry, it paid me $68, almost $69, and I put back in 53. So I was able to take that difference and reinvest it into something else. And that's the reason I say to start with higher yielding dividend stocks, because once you max it out, as I would say I'm doing, when I say I'm maxed it out, I'm saying I have enough money in it now to where it's paying for itself. Alright, so it's paying 51% dividend yield. I'm getting more than $51. So I'm putting back $51. It's paying for itself now. And I'm collecting the difference. I don't keep the difference, I reinvest the difference, but I'm reinvesting the difference into other stocks. And so I'm trying to build these high dividend yielding stocks up to where they're at least paying for themselves. And then
In half a mile,
anything
turn left onto
extra
Oklahoma 137.
is extra money that I can invest in other stocks. So they're helping, the higher yielding dividend stocks are helping me pay for the lower yielding dividend stocks, if that makes sense. So it's extra money that I have to invest in the lower yielding dividend stocks. Now the higher ones are higher risk, don't get me wrong. And the lower ones are typically lower risk, but you're gonna make less money. However, the lower yielding dividend stocks, you're potentially going to make more money on the cash value side. However, you can't touch that money because then you're going to lose your dividend. So it's like, hang on.
Oklahoma 137.
Yeah, you don't want to touch that money because then you're going to lose your dividend. So it's like, it doesn't matter if the cash value goes up or not, because you're losing your paycheck if you cash it out. So what's the point? I mean, unless you're just day trading and unless that's what you're looking for. So, which I do some day trading. I'm now officially using Cash App strictly for day trading. I'm primarily using Robinhood and Webull for everything else. So if I can buy it on Robinhood, I'll buy it on Robinhood. If I can't buy it on Robinhood, I used to go to Cash App's secondary, and then Webull for if I couldn't buy it at Cash App, but now I'm just pretty much just using Robinhood and Webull. I can pretty much buy almost anything with Webull, but Webull is harder to use than Robinhood. So if Robinhood limits me for whatever reason, won't let me buy a stock or won't let me buy a certain amount of stock or whatever, if they do some kind of crap like they did in the past, then I got Webull as my backup. So, but yeah, so that's what I do. And then right now I'm using Cash App now for day trading. And that's it. I do use Robinhood for Bitcoin or digital currency, crypto, which I got $327, almost $28 in crypto, and overall my crypto is down $3. My brother thinks that XRP is going to be the next Bitcoin, so I'm keeping an eye on that. I don't want to miss out on that like I did Bitcoin. If it's the new Bitcoin. My brother follows crypto almost as religiously as that other guy I was talking about at the beginning of the video. So I listen to my brother when it comes to crypto.
3 miles, turn left onto East 100th Road.
I don't go all in like my brother does. Hang on. I don't go all in like my brother does on crypto. I'm more of a dividend investor. Because crypto is kind of like gambling, you know, it's kind of like day trading. And I don't really like to day trade. However, this SOL coin pays a pretty good dividend. I call it a dividend, but it's not really a dividend, it's an interest rate. So right now I'm only using Robinhood and Cash App for crypto, but Cash App only does Bitcoin, so I'm not really even using it for that per se. If Bitcoin goes down, then I might, but I might be buying Bitcoin at both locations. Whichever one has the lowest fees. I don't know what the fees are. I know at Cash App they charge a fee. I'm pretty sure they charge a fee here too. But anyway, the nice thing about crypto, some crypto coins now, is they're paying you an interest rate. So SOL coin is paying 7% interest, and ETH is paying almost 3% interest. So I just started upping the ante on this, even though I really should wait, because right now I'm still working on paying down my credit card. So I'm trying to only invest in stuff that pays more than the interest rate on my credit card. So the credit card is like, I say 20%, but it's really closer to 25%. But I'm just gonna call it an even 20. I'm trying to only invest in things that pay more than 20%.
Turn left onto East 100th Road.
While I'm paying down the credit card. once I get the credit card paid down and I only have my auto renewals on there, then my next highest interest rate is my pickup truck. And so I can start focusing on anything that pays more than 14%, or I might just call it 15, round it up. Right now I'm rounding down to 20%, where later I'll round up to 15%. So, but yeah, let's go back over here. I just wanted to show that real quick because you can make money on crypto whether it goes up or down also now, and make more money than you can off your bank account. So SOL is a good crypto to make money on. And if hang on. Oh, I gotta pause the video again, hang on. Okay. SOL, shit out of luck. Coin. Solana coin. It's actually up. For me, it's not up that much, but it's up, And I think because it pays an interest rate, people are going to be putting more money into it. So it could be the next Bitcoin too, just because it's giving you a dividend. It's giving you interest. For people like me, that is an incentive to invest in that digital currency. Now, I don't understand the difference between stacking and not stacking, but if they're gonna pay me to stack, fuck, I'll do it. So at 7%, I'll basically make money every month. Now, when I get the pickup truck paid off and I get the credit cards paid down, and all I have is my mortgage, then I'll be investing in dividend stocks and digital currency that pays me more interest, more yield than the interest rate on my mortgage or mortgages.
Turn right onto Oklahoma 10.
Now I would have my dividends up more than I have them now, but my girlfriend, when we first got together, she sold her land. She was actually upside down. So I made her a deal. I was like, sell your property, invest in camper hookups on my property. Then you don't have to worry about, because she still wasn't done investing in her land, and she was pretty much out of money, and she was paying like $600 a month to stay at the campground. I was like, sell your property, invest in my property, move here, save $600 a month, and I'll, once I get my dividends up, I will pay you back for the money that you invested in my property. So she invested about $15,000 into my property. Actually, 16 total between the two properties. 16,500. So she invested in me. My dad unfortunately passed away at the beginning of the year, and we sold his mobile home because that was the only asset that he had. He stopped paying his life insurance on his 70th birthday And then 6 months later, or actually 8 months later, he passed away. So there was no life insurance. So the only money in his estate was pretty much the mobile home. Unfortunately, the mobile home market, the real estate market for mobile homes, probably tripled, if not quadrupled. So instead of the mobile home losing value, it actually went up in value. Now, my dad was OCD, pristine, clean, minimalist. So his house looked practically brand new still. And so we was able to double the money off of the mobile home. So he paid, of course he got a discount on it, so it was worth more than what he paid for it when he paid for it. But he paid 25 grand for it, and we got 50 grand out of it. So we got it. We came out good as far as that was concerned. We had to fight to get that money because the mobile home company, or the mobile home park, was trying to hijack it from us, rip us off.
Turn at the first right
But,
onto Oklahoma 10.
You know, we stuck to our guns and worked out. We made money off that deal. We didn't quite make up for the money we lost or make up for the money we would have made off of the life insurance. But since there was no life insurance, we came out on top as far as that goes. So that helped pay us back the money that we had to spend on my dad's estate after he passed. Fortunately, he prepaid for all of his like cremation and all that stuff, so we didn't have to worry about covering that cost. But we had to cover other expenses, so that money helped to pay us back for that, and then also helped me pay off my girlfriend for the money she invested into my Kaplinger property. So for me, it basically helped me pay off one of my debts. So now she's paid off, she's free and clear. I don't owe her nothing. I own my Kaplinger property free and clear. Now that we're buying this third property, I can turn the Kaplinger property into an investment property because it's got camper hookups. Now I can rent out camper spots. And I really need to I need to install one more camper hookup spot for it to be ideal. But I think I have to upgrade the septic tank in order to do that. But I got to get with the health department and do all this bull crap. But for the moment, everything's ready to go. I can rent out 2 camper spots. And if I cleaned out the building, I could probably rent out the building too. But I'm using the building for my own personal stuff.
3 miles, turn left onto US 60.
But anyway, so I got that debt paid off. So now I just have my mortgage on my 15 acres, the mortgage on the 30 acres that Laura and I are buying together, my pickup truck, and my credit card debt, which isn't much. It's like $7 grand. So I can have that paid down pretty quick if I wasn't trying to invest at the same time. Now, one of my guru guys says, don't invest. Don't be trying to invest in stocks if you have, credit card debt. Pay out the credit card debt first, because your credit card debt is charging you more than the money you're going to make off your investments. Which, if you go the safe route, yes, that's true. If you go the aggressive route, that may not necessarily be true. So that's why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. If it pays more than the interest rate on my debt, if the yield is higher than the interest rate on my debt, then that's what I'm investing in. If the stock is down over the 5 years, then I'll only invest, say, for example, let's go back. I already used that as an example. So KLIP, that's another one that I have a lot of money in. It's a Chinese company. 5 years, it's way down. So it's paying 20%, give or take. Let's go back over here. Pause the video. Unpause the video.
Left curve ahead.
My internet's not too good right now. There we go. KLIP. Yeah, I do all this stuff too on a burner phone, so
Left onto US 60.
I have to rely on my Wi-Fi. So if my Wi-Fi is not too good, then I can't do crap. Go, 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 go! I'm out here in the boonies. I'm only going half a mile, then I gotta turn again. My signal's probably gonna get bad for the next 30 minutes, and then I gotta deliver. But this next road's real windy, curvy, mountainous, so I'm probably gonna have to end the video anyways, because I can't, it's not a straightaway and whatnot, so it's not easy for me to do this while driving. I gotta keep putting the phone down, which I gotta do right now. Hang on. It's a little easier to do with an automatic truck than it is with the standard. I miss the standard trucks, but these automatics do make life a little bit more convenient, especially when I'm doing stuff like this. So KLIP. KLIP is not paying for itself yet. I still got to get the dividend. I still got to get the dividend up, but the stock is so far down that I'm kind of worried that it might crash. So I'm just investing the minimum. So it did pay me. I don't know why I bought $40 worth the last time if it's only paying 20% dividend yield. And maybe it was paying 40%, so I put in $40. But if it's, oh, there's a cop. Mark him in the GPS. So now that the dividend yield is down to 20% and I'm making $25, well, we'll see what the next dividend is. Let's see what, if it's going to tell me when I'm going to get paid. No. So, if it pays me more than $20, which it probably won't, if the yield was 40% and I threw in $40, then it's probably gonna pay me less now that it's down to 20%. But even though I already put in another $40. So either way, once it's paying for itself, so like say it pays me $25 again, which it won't, but just say it does. Then I'll throw in $20 and I'll have another $5 to reinvest. Now, if the stock was up over the last 5 years, or for the last 5 years or whatever, you know, if I go up here and I look and the stock is up instead of down, of course it's not even 5 years old. It could balance out. And I've only lost $70, but I've made more than that on dividends. So, not that big of a deal. Have I made my $1,300 back? No. But the money that it's down, I've already made that back. So, I'm golden. And if it goes back up, then I'm even more golden. So it looks bad as far as the overall growth, but I really only started investing in the last year. Actually, not even that long. Because oh no, my internet's bad. Oh, my internet's real bad. I ain't got internet at all right now. So, all right. So going back here because I don't have internet. KLIP. Oh yeah, here we go.
Winding road ahead.
I started investing. Whoa. March of 2024. So a little over a year ago, and it's about 2 years old. So it looks like it's stabilizing where it is now. When it started out, a bunch of people bought in and the stock dropped. And a bunch of people lost money. So I guess I got in about the right time where it's not been losing as much money. And so it looks like it's stabilizing now. And so the other nice thing about doing it the way I'm doing it is when the stock is down, the dividend yield is up. When the stock is up, the dividend yield is down. So when the stock is up, I still buy more stock. I just don't buy as much because the percentage is down. So say the stock is up, the percentage will be 5%. And so I'll only throw in $5. Unless it's up for the 5 years, then I'll throw in $50. But if the stock is down, then the yield might be 10%. And then I'll only throw in $10. Unless it's up for the 5 years, then I'll throw in $100. So when the stock goes back up, it'll be maybe a dividend yield of 5%, but that $100 that I put in the last time may be worth $200 now, and I'm making money. So I might still throw in another $50 instead of $100. But, I'll just keep investing. And if the stock keeps going up, yeah, the yield will keep going down. But I'll just invest less because I'm making money on the cash value side, but I'm making less in dividends, if that makes sense. So, and I'm after the dividends, not the cash value. I'll worry about the cash value when I retire, if I need it. My kids probably aren't going to get anything because I don't even know them. I don't even know where one is. My kids' mother's pretty much alienated me from my kids. I didn't fight for my kids like I should have, probably, because I didn't have the money. Watch the movie or documentary Divorce Corp and you'll understand. I fought for my kids as much as I can afford to fight for them. And when they tried to put me in prison, even though I was paying my child support, they set me up and basically rejected my child support payment. And then after about 6 months, they issued a warrant for my arrest and tried to throw me in prison. That was my sign to say, don't fuck with these guys. They'll throw me in prison, basically. They were basically telling me, don't fuck with us, because we'll fuck your life up. And so I backed off. And I quit fighting the system at that point. Because it's like, why fight for something if it's a lose situation? Because they'll just brainwash my kids into thinking that I was a deadbeat anyways. So they think I'm a deadbeat. Well, at least my oldest does. My youngest doesn't. But my oldest thinks that I'm a deadbeat dad, even though I paid child support well past the point that I had to legally pay child support. And his mother even tried to get me to sign my rights away, and I wouldn't sign my rights away because I thought my son would come to me eventually and want to be a part of my life. But that never happened. So I probably should have signed my rights away, but I didn't. Anyway, my youngest son, he kind of stayed in my life a little bit more, mostly because his mother passed away at a younger age because of drugs and a poor lifestyle. That, and she was a hypochondriac, so she was always going to the doctor for problems that was in her head. But the doctor just kept giving her more drugs. So, she kind of became a drug addict. And it started with her hypochondriacism. But anyway. But she self-medicated too because she was bipolar and schizophrenic. So, yeah. And it's okay to self-medicate if you're doing it responsibly. But if you're not doing it responsibly, then it could become a problem. So, she obviously didn't do it responsibly. But anyhow. So my youngest son was a part of my life up until recently. His mother and his grandmother, who now is looking after him because he's like mentally handicapped, because long story short, I forgot the clinical word for this, but his mother projected her hypochondriacism onto my son and had him on all these drugs, and then basically fried his brain. She did that to her other son too, the kid that she had by the guy that she cheated on me with, which is why we got divorced. So anyway, she messed up his brain too. She fucked them both up with pharmaceuticals because of her hypochondriacism, and she was projecting that onto the kids, and now the kids are fucked up. So anyway,
3 miles, turn right onto East 290 Road.
And I tried to intervene, but the government was like, child support was like, oh, well, she's trying to get them help. There's nothing we can do. She's not trying to get them help. She's poisoning their brains. But they didn't want to listen to me. It was out of my control. I couldn't do nothing about it. The government was on her side, not mine. But anyways, he was in my life up until recently because his mother and his grandmother brainwashed him with all this religious bull crap. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm religious. I'm not really religious. Religion is corrupt. I'm spiritual. But they brainwashed him with all this religion garbage. And so there was this girl that he went to school with that was a lesbian. And he outed her on Facebook, trying to slander her, make her give her a bad name for being a lesbian on Facebook. And a bunch of people threatened his life, but threatened to beat him up. And he came to me and asked me, for advice. What do I do? I told him to apologize. I was like, you're in the wrong. I was like, yeah. He goes, but it's a blasphemy to God. And I was like, well, that might be true. However, this is a free country. They have the right to do what they want to do. Just like you want the right to do what you want to do. And you're infringing on her rights as an American citizen. So, that's the beauty of this country, is we have the right to be who we want to be, and we do not have the right to infringe on other people's rights. Or at least that's the way it's supposed to be. So, I told him he was wrong, or he was in the wrong for infringing on her rights as an American citizen. Now, I didn't say he was wrong biblically in his thoughts per se. He can believe any way he wants to believe, but he was wrong in his actions. He can pray for her, he can be a positive influence on her, but he shouldn't be going around slandering her on Facebook or wherever because she chooses to be in love with or in a relationship with other women. That's her business, not his. And so yeah, he got mad at me and now he won't talk to me.
Turn at the first right onto East 290 Road.
So that might change. We'll see. But that road wasn't as bad as I remember. Anyways. Maybe I took a different route last time. So, Zim. I love Zim. Zim. It might not give me any data because I don't have internet.
Turn left onto US 59.
No. Anyways, I love Zim. Zim dividend is up. It was up whenever I was investing in it before. I think there's another cop. Oh no, that's a construction guy. Anyway, Zim dividends are up again. Zim is a lot more stable stock than maybe some of the other high yielding dividend stocks. So I'm starting to put more money into them every month. I've got it almost up to where KLIP is. I've made a lot of money with them in the past. I cashed it out because I needed the money, but at the same time, they lowered their dividend yield to 1%. So I made the money on the cash value side that I was supposed to make in the dividend. They didn't pay a dividend for over a year. And I was worried, everybody was worried they were going to go under. But it was because of that war that they were having a hard time. Anyway, but the stock went way down, and I kept buying while the stock was down, but I was worried. And then they didn't pay their dividend for a long time, and then when they did pay their dividend, it was 1%. However, the stock went up crazy, so I cashed out $3,000. I had about $2,000 invested. I made $1,000 on the cash value side. So after I cashed out, I made $1,000, which is what I should have made on my dividends, but I didn't. And then and I still had a couple $100 left over in the stock. So now that the stock or the dividend yield's going back up, I'm investing more money into them again. And pretty soon that'll be one of my bigger investments. Well, it is one of my bigger investments. But I'll probably have it up there with BITO soon. But anyways, so what I was trying to say before, again, is, start high and go low. So don't start with investing in things that's going to pay you only 1%. Because it's going to take you 100 years to see a return on your investment. Start with the things that pay 50% or more. And just throw in $20 and then wait for it to pay you a dividend. When it pays you a dividend, throw in some more money. And then once it's paying for itself, like I said, if it's paying 20%, you're making $25 on it. You throw in another $20, and you got an extra $5 left over. Take that money and spend it or reinvest it into something else that pays a lower dividend. Just keep building your portfolio.
Turn at the first light onto US 59.
Until you replace your income. Then you can start to retire. Start looking for other jobs. If you don't like your job, you can look for something else that you might enjoy more, because you're making money. You're being able to pay your bills on your dividend stocks. And then you could take that extra money, that difference that you have between the job that you might be job hopping at this point, but it's like you're exploring different jobs, making maybe not as much money as you used to make, but you got the money coming in from your dividends. So you're using some of that money from the dividends to pay your bills, and some of the money from your job hopping while you're exploring different job avenues to find something you enjoy. Or maybe you start your own business, but your business isn't making you as much money as you need. So you take some of that money from your dividends to pay your bills and reinvest in the business until the business is making you more money. So, moral of the story is, I'm trying to encourage kids today, starting with my nephew. My kids will probably never do this.
Turn right onto Annie Lane.
Because my kids will probably never know me. So I'm going with my nieces and nephews, trying to educate them to do this. Because all of my money and all of my assets are probably going to go to my nieces and nephews. Unless my kids come around and get their act together, all my money, all my assets are probably going to go to my nieces and my nephews. So, and I got a goddaughter that'll probably get some of it too. But anyway, so I'm trying to educate the younger people, and anybody for that matter, to do this, invest in dividend stocks, or things that pay a higher interest rate than what you can get on your bank account. And because the banks ain't gonna pay you crap. And then once you replace your income, then you can go do whatever you want. Start your own business. Be like Bob the butler and just kind of job hop. Fuck, I can't turn there. I'll just turn at the other one. I hate turning at the other one.
Turn at the first right onto Annie Lane.
Because it's a little more difficult. Well, I guess it depends. That turn was a lot more difficult. So the other one might be a lot easier. Anyways. So,
Speed warning.
live as broke as you possibly can. Pay off as much of your debt as you possibly can. Invest as much as you possibly can into dividend stocks.
Turn at the first right onto West 18th Street.
Or digital currency that will pay you an interest. 7% interest or better. Anything better than the bank is going to pay you. Yeah, this one's fucked up too, but not as fucked up. Okay. Sometimes that other turn is better, but this time this one was better. I got another turn I gotta make that's kind of jacked up too, but it'll be alright. Anyways, invest.
Turn at the first
Until you
right
can
onto
replace
South Broadway Street.
until you can replace your income with your dividends or the interest rate that you're making off your investment. Then be like Bob the butler and just job hop till you find something you're good at or something you love. Oh shit. Alright people, you're gonna have to back up. I gotta turn wide here.
Your destination is on the right.
Okay. Now I got one more wide turn I gotta make. But I'm gonna own it. Own the highway. Don't want to end up in the ditch. I gotta take up 2 lanes to turn. So if you see a truck and he's turning, he, she, mostly they're guys, but more and more women are getting into the industry since we have automatic trucks. But you see a truck turning, they're gonna need 2 or 3 lanes to change, to turn. So give them room, please. Por favor. Arigato gozaimashita. But anyway, there you go. That's it. I gotta back up here into this dock and unload. But yeah, 20%. I'm averaging 20% right now because I got some high yielding dividend stocks and some low yielding dividend stocks. But I'm using the higher ones to help me pay for the lower ones. And I also got carbon credit stocks. But I'm trying to only invest in carbon credit stocks that pay me dividends. That way I make money off the bullshit. But anyways, yeah. Carbon credits. That's a whole new world order subject too. But yeah, you know, the more carbon credit stocks you have, the more carbon credit you have, and then the new world order is not going to breathe down your neck as much in the future. They're not implementing that carbon credit crap yet, but they're going to. So buy carbon credit dividend stocks so you make money off the system. All right. Wish me luck. I wish you luck. We'll talk to you later. I'm going to back up in here and just let you look at these numbers for a minute. I'll probably put some music to this. I don't know. We'll see. All right, here we go. This is a really messed up place to back into, too. Done it a few times, though. I can handle it. But the first time I did it, I was like, what in the hell? It's not the worst one, but it's one of the worst ones. It's not that bad once you get used to it. I got another one that's really jacked up. But I'm so used to it that I can do it almost in one back. I don't have to do... I still got to do pull-ups most of the time, but every once in a while I do it in one fell swoop, which is amazing because it is an almost impossible back. In fact, we've had other drivers give up. They couldn't handle it. And they just didn't deliver. They took the load back to the yard and somebody else had to deliver it. Or they damaged the trailer, or they damaged the wall trying to get in there. It used to be an easy back, but then, so I deliver for TJ Maxx and Marshalls. And TJX owns Home Goods and they own Sierra. Well, they ended up buying or renting the spot next door to TJ Maxx and Home Goods, and they're putting in a Sierra, or they put in a Sierra, and they put in a dock, but they put the dock in the way of the drivers backing into the Home Goods and TJ Maxx spot. So the Home Goods spot is difficult, but not impossible, where the TJ Maxx spot is extremely difficult and next to or almost impossible to get into without damaging something. So, but they didn't care. They're like, fuck the driver. We don't care about them. We just only care about ourselves. So, yeah, that put a bad taste in my mouth with TJX. TJX stock is up, though. If you would have bought it way back when, kind of like Bitcoin, you'd have made a lot of money. But they only pay 1% dividend. So, I'm not really investing in them too much. I got a couple bucks in there, but not very much. If and when the stock goes down, then I might buy some stock and play with it. But right now, it's more of a day trade stock rather than a dividend stock. So, yeah. I mean, it might keep going up, and you might make a lot of money off of it if you have a lot of money to put in it. But, yeah. For people starting out, I would probably... I don't know. That's a judgment call. You have to do what you want to do. Me, I'm not doing it. I got like, you know, I don't know how much money I got in there. I can't look it up. Actually, I think I can. No, I can't. It won't tell me. But because I don't have internet right now. So yeah, I might have $10, $20, $30 in there tops. But yeah, next month I'm switching to the home goods division, but I won't just be doing home goods. I'll be doing tractor supply as well. So I'll be dropping and hooking trailers at home goods, and I'll be live unloading at tractor supply, but I won't have to do the unloading. Tractor supply will do all that. So that'll be nice. That'll be nice. We're here, I got to get out and unload. And this stop's not so bad. It's only a couple pallets, but the next stop is basically the rest of the trailer that I got to unload. And that's not so much the problem. The problem is reloading the garbage, because they recycle, which is cool, but they put the recycled material in these gaylords, these large bins. But the large bins are not solid. They're like a real thin, flimsy plastic. And they overstuff them, and they're usually too big, too fat to get back on the trailer. And it's a bitch. It's a real pain in the ass. And I'm just sick and tired of it, because they don't stuff the gaylords properly like they're supposed to. They overstuff them. They don't pack them right. Shit's falling out all over the place. And I got to deal with it and act like it's not their problem, or like they don't give a shit. So I'm like, you know what? I've done this for a year. I think it's time to do something different. So I'm changing divisions. I thought they weren't going to let me change divisions there for a minute, because we got like a half dozen people quitting over here. And I thought they were going to leave me stuck. And so I was like, fuck, I'm stuck here till I get my land. But I'm switching divisions, so cool. And now I can just stay here. It'll look good on my application for getting this new property. And then if it does, after I get the property, if I don't like this other division, then I can quit and go somewhere else. But yeah. Anyways, TJX. Yeah, they didn't pay a dividend like they said they were gonna pay. They did finally pay it, but it took 2 years. I had to stock for 2 years, and then they finally paid. So that's another thing. I'm mostly investing in things that pay monthly, not things that pay annually or biannual or whatever every 2 years. I want stuff that's going to pay me every month. I don't want to wait 2 years for a paycheck. So, yeah, I'm not hardly investing in TJX. If they start paying monthly, I'll start investing more. But if they're not going to pay more, then I'm not going to invest more. So, but yeah, their stock is going up. But I don't know. It might have peaked. It might not have peaked. It looks like it's stabilizing now. But they only pay 1%. So I'll invest in them later. Maybe. Real estate pays better. You'd be better off to invest in real estate. So, yeah. Anyways. Like I said, day trading. If you want to day trade, then maybe invest in them. Get some dividends until the stock goes up, and then cash out. So I'd say anything less than what you can make at the bank, or less than 5%, because Robinhood pays 4%. So anything less than 4%, treat it as a day trade, but only maybe day trade things that pay a dividend. And in that way, you're making money on the money while you're waiting for it to grow and cash it out. So, I don't know. Everybody's got different strategies. That would be mine for day trading. But anyways, all right. Talk to you later. We're already at almost 2 hours. 2-hour video. Hopefully this was educational for somebody and helpful to somebody. I'm not a guru. I don't know everything. I'm still learning. But hopefully this helps someone out there. All right, bye.